Stack Overflow just laid off 28% of its workforce, and everyone's blaming AI. But here's the thing. The story is way more nuanced than that, and it actually tells us something really important about where coding and AI are really headed. Hey, I'm Mark, and today we're breaking down what actually happened at Stack Overflow, what it means for programmers, and whether AI is actually coming for your job. Let me start with the obvious question. Is AI replacing programmers? The short answer is no, not yet. But it's absolutely changing what programmers do, and that's actually way more interesting than a simple replacement story. Stack Overflow is basically the Wikipedia of programming. If you're a coder and you've ever had a problem, you've probably found the answer on Stack Overflow. It's been around since 2008, and for over a decade, it was the go-to resource for developers worldwide. But here's what happened. The company started struggling financially. They weren't making enough money to sustain the operation they had built. When the layoffs were announced, a lot of people immediately jumped to the conclusion that AI killed Stack Overflow. They thought, well, now that ChatGPT and Claude can answer coding questions, nobody needs Stack Overflow anymore. And yeah, that's part of the story, but it's not the whole story. Here's what's actually going on. Stack Overflow's core business model was built on traffic and advertising. They made money by having millions of developers visit their site every day and then serving ads alongside answers. But when AI coding tools like GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, and Claude started getting really good at answering coding questions instantly, the incentive for developers to visit Stack Overflow decreased. Why go to a website and search through answers when you can just ask your AI coding assistant in your IDE and get an answer in seconds? So yes, AI did impact their traffic. But that's not the only reason they had to lay people off. Stack Overflow also faced some pretty significant community and reputation issues. There was backlash around how they were handling AI training data. Developers were upset that their answers, which they contributed for free, were being used to train AI models without explicit consent or compensation. Some users started deleting their content or moving to alternative platforms. The community trust eroded, and that matters when your entire business is built on community-generated content. They also made some business decisions that didn't pan out the way they hoped. They tried to pivot into enterprise products and new revenue streams, but those didn't generate the income they needed. So when you combine declining traffic due to AI, community backlash, and underperforming new products, you get layoffs. Now, the bigger question, is this what's going to happen to programming jobs in general? Here's where it gets interesting. AI coding tools are genuinely making some types of coding work less necessary. If you're writing boilerplate code, simple CRUD operations, or basic scripts, AI can do that faster than you can. Some developers are already using tools like Copilot to write maybe 30 to 40% of their code, and they're spending more time reviewing and refining what the AI generates. But here's what's not happening. AI is not writing complex systems. It's not architecting large applications. It's not making critical decisions about how to structure a code base. It's not debugging production issues that require deep context and understanding. And it's definitely not replacing the problem-solving skills that separate junior developers from senior architects. What's actually happening is that AI is shifting what programming work looks like. Instead of spending hours writing boilerplate, developers are spending more time thinking about design, architecture, and solving novel problems. The job is changing, not disappearing. In fact, some research suggests that the job market for developers might actually stay pretty strong, even with AI in the picture. Here's why. As AI makes some coding tasks easier, it also makes it easier for more people to build things. You get more products, more startups, more innovation, which means more demand for developers who can work with these tools effectively and think about the bigger picture. But there's a catch. The developers who are going to thrive are the ones who learn to work with AI tools, not against them. If you're a programmer who sees Copilot as a threat and refuses to use it, you're probably going to struggle. If you're someone who learns to use these tools as a lever to amplify your productivity, you're going to be more valuable. There's also going to be a shift in what skills matter most. Pure coding speed and memorizing syntax becomes less important when AI can handle that. What becomes more important is judgment, communication, understanding business problems, and being able to think critically about code quality and system design. The soft skills, the architectural thinking, the ability to work across teams, those become more valuable. So what does the Stack Overflow situation actually teach us? First, It shows that AI is real and it's already changing how people work. The impact is not theoretical anymore. It's happening now, and businesses that don't adapt are going to struggle. Second, it shows that the impact is more complex than simple job replacement. Stack Overflow's problems weren't just about AI. They were about business model fit, community trust, and strategic execution. AI was one factor among several. Third, it tells us that the transition is going to be messy. Some jobs will disappear. Some will transform. Some new ones will be created. That's always how technological shifts work, and it's not fun for the people going through it, but it's the reality. For programmers specifically, here's what I'd actually worry about less. AI stealing your job outright. Here's what I'd worry about more. Falling behind on learning how to use these tools effectively, or being in a role that becomes genuinely less necessary because the work it involves is now trivial for AI to do. The programmers who are going to be most secure are the ones who are already thinking about this shift, experimenting with AI tools, and asking themselves how these tools can make them better at their job. Not how to compete with them, but how to leverage them. Stack Overflow itself is trying to adapt. They've started working on ways to integrate AI into their platform rather than compete with it. They're exploring how they can be a platform where AI and developers work together rather than just a Q&A site. Whether that works remains to be seen, but it's the right instinct. Here's the real takeaway. AI is not going to replace programmers in the way people fear, but it is going to make programming different. The future of coding is probably going to look like developers working alongside AI tools, using them to handle routine tasks while they focus on the complex, creative, and strategic parts of building software. So if you're a developer worried about your future, the best thing you can do is start experimenting with these tools now. Get comfortable with GitHub Copilot or ChatGPT for coding. Learn how to prompt them effectively. Think about where they work well and where they fall short. Build an intuition for how to work with AI as a coding partner. And if you're just curious about how AI is changing the tech world, well, that's the kind of thing we break down on this channel all the time. So if you want to stay ahead of these shifts and understand what's really happening in AI and tech, hit that subscribe button. We're putting out videos every week that cut through the hype and give you the actual story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.